I'm just going to hold a phone in my hand right now. That way everybody can hear me other than the cicadas and the traffic going by. Of course, I'm at the depot, sitting here. Um, Might go see my mom here if they get done with this. So, this is my toy story. Yeah. Um, you know, something in my teeth. I've had uh, quite a few toys in my life, and I made some videos on the trucks that I reacquired, but it's not them that it were really the trucks that I had. It's hang on, there you go, got a piece of teriyaki meat. um, it's the ones that I kind of got back that look just like them. So I got a Tonka truck. What do they call that? Some kind of mini Tonka truck, and I also got a Silver Knight by Nylant. The last time I had that truck was in 1985, before we moved to Conway, South Carolina for like 9 months. I don't know whatever happened to it. I don't know whether I destroyed it or what, but I was bad. I was seriously cruel to a lot of my toys. But the one I had when I was like a year old, um, it was me sitting on the floor at my grandma's, and I was playing with this mini Tonka truck. Um, I think it was from 1973, 74. So it was, I mean, a long time ago. So some years later, when I was about 8 or 9, maybe I was 10. I'm not sure. Um, my mom or my grandparents, whoever, bought me the Shogun Warriors Godzilla. The following year, I took it to the beach with me, and I was playing with it in the ocean and everything. And I quite remember, I remember when I got it for Christmas, and I remember whenever I took it to the beach. That's the only times I can't exactly remember anything in between that because I was pretty young, and I'm 51 now. But I remember taking it from the beach. This is in Surfside Beach, and the bad thing about taking toys like that to the beach is they get pretty popular, and people, other kids, they want them. They figure, hey, beach, Godzilla, matches. So anyway, I remember vaguely playing with my Godzilla in the sand, just vaguely. He had one of those shoot fists. You push the button and it shoots out, and he had a little thing that flicks, and it's supposed to flick the fire thing. I remember that, and I remember playing with it on the beach, in the sand. I would take it every so often to wash it off, get the sand off of it, and I had this rebel flag towel. My grandmother had taken that thing to the beach every single year since I was a little fella. And the last time I saw she had it, she still had it. And every year, like it's like, well, sometimes somebody might take it home with them and they bring it back the following year, and so that you get it back. We went to the beach from 1973 to like 1999, so like almost 26 years going to the beach. My family, my mom's mother, which is my grandmother, we went to the beach every year just about. except for the year after Hurricane Hugo and another year before that, a couple years before that, because it just, you know, for whatever reason, we just didn't go. The place that we went to wasn't available. But anyway, I was I remember taking my Shogun Warriors Godzilla from the beach. Like I said, vaguely, just minute pieces in there, because I must have been 8 or 9 years old. And I took it, and I think my grandmother. I was with my grandmother. I was with somebody. I don't know whether I was with my mom or my grandmother. Usually I was with my grandma because she took us to the beach whenever my mom had to work, and we had, my dad and my mom would give her money for us, So we went, like I said, about every year. So I remember sitting on the underneath the porch. And this is in Surfside Beach, right there in Ocean Boulevard, a house called the Stuck Inn. Okay, so I set it underneath the porch or right in front of the steps, so that going up to the second, to the porch above, had 2 stories. One story above, one story below. At the time, the house that I'd always stayed a green. I'm sorry, a red and a white. Red was on the upper level, white was on the bottom level. And on next door, it was called the Lazy Daisy. It was a house that was on the ground level, but eventually after Hurricane Hugo, they put it up on concrete stilts, and so now it's kind of up. And just in case another hurricane comes through, it won't wipe it out this time. It was owned by the Brogdons, and the one that we rented was owned by the Stuckies. So yeah, so we call it Stuck Inn. So anyway, I remember putting my rebel flag, whatever it is, my grandma's towel on the Godzilla, and I went off and done something, and I wasn't gone for like 10 minutes or so, less than 10 minutes, and I came back, the thing was gone. The only thing that was there was the towel. I was like, what happened to my Godzilla? And I remember I was all upset, and it drove my grandma and my mom crazy. That I think it was my mom was there. Drove them crazy because I was like all upset about that Godzilla disappearing. This was 44, 45 years ago, and I still remember it. Before that, though, when we used to go to the beach and probably afterwards, my grandma would take us to the store. Of course, she would get stuff from the store. There'd be a lot of people coming, her sisters and their families and what have you. And if you ever remember Mego Batman, well, this was a plastic Batmobile, and then they had like a red or blue figure of Batman and Robin in the seat. And so I would take that to the beach. I'll get one about every year or something like that. And she'd get me one, little beach toys. That's what she called them, beach toys. And that's what Godzilla was for me. It was a beach toy. Until it wasn't, until somebody stole it. And so, we would play around on the beach, whatever, with our little 19s, 80s, early 80s, toys and stuff. And I remember one time I got one with a boat. The Batmobile had a boat with it. It had like a little hookup with a boat. And I get out there and I play in the water, with my Batmobile boat and stuff. It was pretty cool. And, fun stuff like that. Somebody being an idiot spinning their wheels. Yeah, stupid. But anyway, I just remember those times, and it just, I'll tell you what else, man. Whenever the Transformers came out, I didn't have Optimus Prime. My mom had got me a Ultra Magnus, which looked like Optimus Prime. It did the same thing as Optimus Prime did. It was white, and you put them inside this trailer and put those Optimus Prime head, Ultra Magnus head on them, and then of course there's Ultra Magnus. And so I also had what was it? Yeah, I had the Ultra Magnus, and I also had a Rodimus Prime, but I had that in Conway. When we lived in Conway, that's about 86. We moved back from there and back, November 86. And that wasn't far from the beach. So anyway, uh, I got really destructive with that sucker. I took him out there and shot him all over with a BB gun inside because I was trying to react to the Transformers movie. Trying to shoot him in certain places where I saw Optimus Prime getting shot at and everything. And they just destroyed some of my toys. And then there's one time where I had my Ultra, not my Ultra Magnus, but my Rodimus Prime. Did I say Rodimus Prime? I meant Ultra Magnus. Is when I shot up. I don't know what happened to the rest of them. But the Rodimus Prime that I had, I got in, like I said, Conway. And my mom's boyfriend was trying to be this strict totalitarian guy, whatever, and he wouldn't let me have. I was arguing with my mom about something other, and he took it from me and put it in my mom's room. And whenever him and my mom broke up, I got it back. I don't know why he even was involved, because he was just this little scrawny kind of guy, whatever. And other than going playing a round of golf with him, I really didn't like him too much when I was just a little fella. But anyway, after he left and everything, my mom dumped him. I got my Rodimus Prime back. We moved back to Manning from Conway, and we were living with my grandma, and I was walking toward my dad's parents' place, my grandparents' place. And so what I did was I had a whole bunch of bottle rockets. That's about 86 or 87, a couple years before Hugo came. And I had them all tied together. So I wanted to see what it would do, if I kind of put the rockets on there, bottle rockets. Well, I did that, and that thing went zooming off down the road. It was kind of shaky, Rodimus Prime. And it was like, golly, I hope it don't flip over. And it did. It just went on straight. Back then the pavement wasn't as smooth as it is now. The pavement back then had like rocks in it. Now it's just mostly asphalt. It wasn't asphalt. The road was still pretty old, asphalt mixed with rocks. But anyway, it just kind of jiggled off down the road. And when it was done and over with, the back of the trailer of my Rodimus Prime was melted. Oh my gosh. So I screwed that up. And I had a Castle Grayskull. I used to take it to the lake with me and everything, and just kind of act like, Castle Grayskull got flooded or something. I took some of the stuff out of it. That way it wouldn't, tear up even worse, with stickers in it and stuff. Sometimes I took a bath with it, played with it, like He-Man was swimming under Castle Grayskull or something like that. I had Merman, I had Triclops, I had the Talon Fighter, I had that. I don't know what happened to those. I think I did throw my He-Man castle into the fire. Yeah, probably that one too. And my Talon Fighter too, I probably did. But I do recall before we even moved to Conway, it was like I had one from, I think I had a He-Man from 83, 84, something like that. And my mom had bought this fish aquarium. And so I wanted to see what it would look like. It was a big fish aquarium. What it was, a year or two before that, we were going to a fair, and my sister got a fish, I got a fish, and my mom bought a big aquarium for the fish. So anyway, I wanted to see what it looked like. So I dropped my He-Man and it blew, went all the way down to the bottom. I said, look at this He-Man with a power sword, bodies. And he's like, you need to get that thing out of there. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. See, He-Man's in the water. And I eventually did it with my Merman. I thought, well, it was fitting for him to be in the water than it was for the He-Man. But anyway, for some dumb reason, I took that He-Man and I put him in boiling hot water. I just wanted to see what it would do. I'd done some crazy stuff, y'all, when I was a kid. I'm telling you. and I didn't put them in a boiling hot water, and the seams of the figure kind of started separating a little bit. And then I recall going to the lake one day down there, what they call Church Branch, and outside of Manning. And Church Branch is the first body of water you come to when it's on the left-hand side. I think it's the first body of water. No, it's the second body. So what we call the second water. It's on the left-hand side. And so we took it over there. Well, I took it over there rather. And I was playing around and everything, and I dropped it. I was just playing with my little cracked up He-Man, in the water, having fun. And I remember there being a lot of muck on the bottom of the, you can feel it. The further you went out, the more you can feel, nasty stuff. But I dropped it, and I was looking all over the place for it, and I couldn't find it. And not long after that, I'd lost my watch. It was one of my favorite watches. And 2 weeks later, I found it. It was still in the same place. It ran over several times, but I found it. My watch was still there. It still worked. But my He-Man, I could never find it. So that was about, that was 1980. Oh, that was 1985. So that was 38 years ago, maybe? Was it 38 years ago? I must have been 12. I guess. No. See, 1985. Yeah, I was 12 or 13 years ago. 12 or 13. My age was 12 or 13. I'll give you that right in just a minute. So I was brutal with my toys. And I kept thinking about that thing. Where's my He-Man? I want my He-Man back. But I had several more action figures and everything like that, But like I said, I was brutal with them. I shot them up with the BB guns. I threw them in a fire. I just tested everything. I wanted to see what the fire would do to them. I wanted to see what the hot water would do to them, boiling water. I want to kind of make a battle accurate version of my Optimus Prime, which is the Ultra Magnus, with the movies. And I eventually shot that thing to pieces, basically. And I try to put it back together, just see if I can kind of make it look like a movie accurate interpretation of Optimus Prime, even though it was white. But anyway, I even forgot what I did with my Optimus Prime, the rest of them, because the trailer was melted on the outside where it came together, but it would still come together, but it was melted. I also had a Cyclonus. I got the Cyclonus whenever I was in Conway. And what I did to that was I got this we had a big pickle jar, and I filled it up with dirt. And I don't know why I did the crazy things that I did. I had them standing up in the middle of the dirt to see what would, how they would settle around them and everything. I don't know, things like that intrigued me. I have no idea why. And when we moved back to Manning, I got this Serpentor. I can't remember whether I bought it or whether I can't remember, or I got it for Christmas or my birthday. So I do recall that. Yeah. One time I took this jar and I filled it with a nail polish remover, and it basically melted my Serpentor's face. And I took the little hood thing off of him, and it melted him. It kind of just made him all smooth and melted down. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I took it out of that and washed it off, and I put it beside my bed. And I took my grandma's palm olive dishwashing detergent, and I filled it just far enough to go over his head. because I was trying to make some kind of accurate interpretation of some kind of chamber for Serpentor, and I had a light bulb, and I drew, I hooked this light bulb to a battery, the little small light, and I hooked it to a battery, and it made the palm olive. It was green, and it started glowing. It's like a green, it's like a slimy green kind of thing. It was like he was being converted into a slime monster. I had my imagination was running wild, man. I tell you what. And my grandmother comes in, Butch, what'd you do? I think, nothing, man. You wasted all my palm oil, boy. I'm gonna skin you alive. Nana was mad, and she was like, she took it and she poured it back in there and everything. Well, why are you doing this silly stuff? Oh, you know. So anyway, she was pretty upset. I had a lot of toys, and I did a lot of things to them. Like I said, shot them up. I had people ran over them. I had Tonka bulldozer one time. Somebody ran over it, and I was crying all upset. And Tonka toys at the wazoo when I was a lot younger. And think to myself, if I had the toys that I had back then, man, they would really be worth something. But I was really upset about my Godzilla, though, man. My Shogun Warriors Godzilla, somebody stole them. So, I don't know who. I really don't know whether it was my grandma or my mom or somebody else, or somebody in our family that took it off and done something with it, because they had seen how obsessed I was with it. Because I remember when I was younger, Godzilla was my hero. Godzilla and Superman, mostly. A little bit of Spider-Man, a little bit of Captain America, but it's mostly Godzilla and Superman. And then eventually it was Batman. But anyway, I keep thinking to myself, maybe it was a family member that took it and hid it because they'd seen how much I enjoyed it and how much I liked it and everything. But maybe a cousin, maybe an aunt or something. Well, or something. I don't know. Because I remember thinking to myself, it's like, who would do that? And even being 8 or 9 years old, I remember thinking, who would steal my toy? And because you would think somebody wouldn't come in somebody's yard, or at the yard that we were renting at the time, and just do something like that. But I wouldn't put it past anybody, because Shogun Warriors Godzilla was a big thing back then in the early 80's. Because they only sold it for like a year, I think. But even now, it just perplexes me. What could have happened to it? It's like one of those missing persons type of thing. It just kind of just after a while, you kind of start thinking, who would do such a thing? And you kind of get obsessed. You kind of reassess the situation. Okay, I was here, I was doing this, I was doing that. How could that got stolen? Hang on, Ricky. Ricky, you can't be loud enough. Jeez. But yeah, if I had all the toys that I had back then, I have a pretty bad. I would have a pretty good collection. I would definitely. Reckon I don't know. It would be something to pass down the set for sure. But now I found myself buying other people's toys. Just recently here, I bought somebody's a few He-Mans, and I got some rubber O-rings to replace the legs on a Prince Adam, something that I bought Seth several years back when they were smaller, and the bands were dry rotted. Even got the fella that's sending them to me. He's going to be sending me some rubber things for the legs. and I'm not sure those are going to work because I'm not sure how they can put them in there. But I'm gonna give it a try and see if that works. If not, then I will go with a rubber O-ring. But I don't know. Maybe somebody, maybe one of y'all out there have a toy store yourself. I just I thought about going out there and testing some of these new age toys with a BB gun, see how durable they are. I don't know. I get crazy like that sometimes. Just like I used to go out there, and take my katana, or machete. I still got both of them. Go out there and cut things up, cut water bottles up and everything, just for the hell of it, just to have fun. And I got some serious views on that, so I don't know. I might do that with one of these um, toys that I have that are new age toys. I give a couple of them away. So, anywho, we get off here and going back to the house. I see a guy I want to talk to just walking this way. So maybe you have a toy story. Maybe you have a stolen toy story. Maybe you have a toy story that, hey, this is what I did at my toys. Or, hey, you actually kept your toys and passed them down to your kids. I got a cousin. He has a bunch of Tonka toys. And he has kept them for a long time. And he ain't got rid of them. He ain't destroyed them or nothing. He's 56 years old. He still has them. Anyway, y'all take care. We'll see you later. What's up, Rico?